Okay, so before I begin with week number 2, I'd just like to start off by saying thank you to everybody for the likes, comments, shares, words of support, and all the messages I got saying that how this story has inspired other people to get up and move forward with their recovery. So that means a lot to me. Thank you. Okay, so let's get down to the nitty-gritty, the recovery process. Before anything physical happens, I've got to go deeper into where it all starts from, and that's the psychological aspect or the mindset. So, in order for me to do that, I've got to tell you how bad things got. So, I was at one point breaking the Guinness World Records, and then the next point, I'm in the hospital fighting for my life. 5 surgeries, forcing me into a coma, nearly passed away a few times whilst in that coma, and upon awakening, I can't move my body, I'm in incredible pain, and I'm surrounded by doctors giving me nothing but bad news. It was at this point where I realised I've got to look inwards and start relying on my own spirit and my own mindset developed through all the training I've done and all the hardships I've been through. To give you an idea of where my mindset was at, I've woken up from the coma, I have the doctors around me, and I've requested a notepad and pen. And the first thing I've asked is, how are my parents, how are my loved ones, are they okay? After I've got that out of the way, I had one of my dear friends in the room, and he's motioned over and grabbed my hand. And I've immediately started playing thumb wars with him. He was surprised, but this was me just letting him know that for me, this is it. This was the next test. It was game on for me. It was, instead of sitting there and thinking, woe is me, how am I going to get out this? I'm in so much pain, I'm so ill. It was me turning around and saying, I'm ready for the next step. Let's start the rehab, let's get this going now. And how that looked, well, it was incremental progressions. I couldn't move the large parts of my body, the arms, the leg. So I started very small. Small victories, started moving my toes, then my ankles. Then I tried to bend my knees a little bit, my shoulders, my neck. Anything I could, any bit of movement. Also, I was doing a lot of deep breathing, deep abdominal breathing, diaphragmatic breathing. I was doing various Qigong protocols, kidney breathing, which was invaluable for me. Because as you know, if you've done any kind of martial practice or yoga or anything like this, the breath unifies the mind and body. And I really, really needed this in order to get my recovery really going. I even requested that the doctors stop it was a fentanyl, it was a horrible drug, it was an incredible painkiller, but it disconnected my mind and body, and I'd rather put up with the pain as long as it got me better. So that was the beginning of the process that got me off that bed, onto the floor, and claiming my mini victories, literally walking towards my end goal, step by step. The doctors would often tell me, and loved ones as well, and I understand it came from a good place, but they were telling me to slow down, telling me I shouldn't do so much. And really, where I accept what they were saying, there's also the bit where they were imposing their limitations upon me, and I'm used to going against the odds, so I took on what they said because I know it came from a place of love, but I was on my own journey of recovery, and I had to push forward and do the best that I could with what I had. Every morning the doctors would come in and ask me how I was feeling. I'd always thought that was a very strange question because they took one look at me and I've got open wounds, I've got pipes sticking out of me, I've got this drug making me feel nauseous. I felt terrible. But that was an irrelevant indulgence. My feelings had nothing to do with the matter at hand, and that was getting better. So that's what I got down to. I started doing my exercises, doing all the physio, etc. Everything is going incredibly well. Every day was a gift. But then it got to the point where I've come back into the room one day and the doctor has come in and said, there's a strange smell coming from you. They've pulled back one of the bandages that I had, and he saw that the wounds were infected. So I've had to go back into the operating theatre and get dead muscles cut out of my body. I was just a few days away from leaving that place and going home. And that brings me to another very important part of mindset, and that was the non-attachment. Whereas I was working towards a goal, I wasn't really attached to the goal. I was just working through the process day by day. If I was really just holding on doggedly to, I'm going to go home today, I'm going to go home today, I would have been met by disappointment and I would have been knocked back some. And instead I took it on the chin and we started all over again. Friday I've had to get all the 5 surgeries done again. Saturday, Sunday, Monday the doctors come back in the room with a physio and I'm already up, feet on the floor and ready to walk. And they were asking me, how did you do it? You're walking better now than you were before the previous surgeries. And really the main thing was, over the weekend I just spent the entire 48, 72 hours, whatever it was, just visualizing, really getting myself into that place, making the mental rehearsals of me getting out of the floor, feeling the cold floor underneath my feet, feeling the balls of my feet, getting up and walking and making it a reality in my mind before I even done it physically. And within 30 seconds of me getting out of that bed, I was walking. I got rid of the crutches and I was walking without them. I'd done the stairs, I walked up and down, and I was ready to go home. And that's what takes us to the final bit of this, I suppose, is one of the motivations of why you're doing things. I've left the hospital, I've said goodbye to all the fantastic staff, and I'm on my way home and I want to see one of the most important people to me. So I'm on the way and my friend has turned around and said, you've proved all your haters wrong. And I said, that's not the motivation. The motivation is to prove all your loved ones right. And that took me all the way to my mother's doorstep, where it all begins for every mother's boy. So not enough credit has been given to her and my father. That's where that's where my mental toughness and resilience really started. The martial arts training merely galvanized what was given to me by those two. So the take home from this week's vlog is the importance of the correct mindset when faced with any kind of task or adversity you might face in your life. Next week we'll be going through all the physical trials that I encountered whilst doing all of my recovery. We've got the correct mindset in place, but we need the correct training protocol to complement that. In the meantime, if you have any questions, feel free to leave something in the comment section or send me a personal message. And yeah, thanks for taking an interest in my journey, and I'll see you soon.